Hi, my name's Crystal. I'm a teacher with YYOGA, and this is Nick. She'll be my student today. Today we're going to be working into a pose called Galavasana, which is a flying pigeon pose, and we're going to get into the hips. We're going to do the invocation to Ganesha, which represents grounding, stability, and earth to help us move through this beautiful pose today. So you can take a deep breath in. Let out a sigh and call and response. Vakratanda, Vakratanda, Mahakaya, Mahakaya, Koti Sarya, Koti Sarya, Samaprabha, Samaprabha, Nirvignam, Nirvignam, Kurume Deva, Kurume Deva, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvada, Sarvada, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha, Vakratanda, Vakratanda, Mahakaya, Mahakaya, Koti Sarya, Koti Sarya, Samaprabha, Samaprabha, Nirvignam, Nirvignam, Kurume Deva, Kurume Deva, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvada, Sarvada, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha, Vakratanda, Vakratanda, Mahakaya, Mahakaya, Koti Sarya, Koti Sarya, Samaprabha, Samaprabha, Nirvignam, Nirvignam, Kurume Deva, Kurume Deva, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvakayeshu, Sarvada, Sarvada, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha, Om Shri Ganapate Namaha. Two more. Om Shri Ganapate Namaha. Om Shri Ganapate Namaha. And bring your hands together at the heart. And bow your head with great reverence. Okay, yogis. Nick, I'm going to have you come to a seat at the top of your mat. So we're going to actually start in Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together, knees wide. You're going to hold on to your feet, and if you need to prop up onto sit bones with a block or underneath your knees, you can do that as well. You're going to take an inhale, lift your chest up, and forward fold as you exhale. You can use your elbows into the inner thighs, let your head hang here, and you're going to practice a 3-part breath. So the 3-part breath to breathe deeply into the belly, breathe into the ribs, and into your upper chest. And you can even bring in the sound of ujjayi, so that soft sound of caress of breath on the back of your throat. This will build some heat in your body, especially with a power class, and we want the heat to get the muscles nice and warm. As you inhale, use your hands to come on up, and you can guide your knees in with your hands, so lift your chest up. Guide your knees in and extend your legs straight out in front of you. Okay, so you're gonna bend your right knee, hold your right knee with your right hand, and your left hand holds your ankle. Foot is active, and then start to sway your hip from side to side. So you're just giving a bit of movement of your femur bone and hip socket, some momentum. And then place your right ankle on top of your left thigh neck, and there's a little divot just above the knee, and flex your left foot. So this could be option A for you, or bring your hands behind you, lean back, and bending your left knee so the sole of the foot is planted. And then pull the low back in, chest lifts up. And if you'd like a little bit deeper, you might either bring your heel closer to the hips or scoot your hips closer to your heel. And getting your chest close to the shin, take a breath fully into the heart and a long breath out into the base of your seat. Again, nice full breath into the hip, 3-part breath, and long breath out. Okay, you're gonna extend your left leg straight forward and then extend your right leg straight forward. And going to the other side, bending your left knee. You can hold on to knee and heel, foot is active, and get a bit of movement going on in the femur bone and hip socket. Yeah. And then you're gonna place your ankle on top of the knee. There's a little divot there. Yeah, and this could be option A for you at home, or fingertips behind you, lean back, bending your right knee so the sole of the foot is planted. You wanna pull the low back in so the chest is rising, and remember to take big breaths. And you can always go a little deeper by either pulling heel closer or sit bones closer to the heel. And nice full inhales and exhales. Okay, so you can start to extend your right leg out and then extend your left leg out and give your legs a little shake, maybe the wrists a little shake. Okay. And then you're gonna sweep your legs around behind you, come to tabletop pose. So shoulders are over top of wrists, spread your fingertips and hold the earth with finger pads, and knees are underneath hips. Okay. You're gonna extend your right leg straight back and spread your toes. You can pick up the foot. And then as you exhale, draw your knee in towards your nose and push to the palm so your back rounds. And then again, extend the right leg straight back, open the toes wide, and then knee into the nose, push into the palms and dome the back body. Yeah, nice, Nick. One more time, inhale, extend back. And draw a knee in, push into the palms, and round, suck the navel in. Yeah, and then extend your right leg straight back, spread toes, belly tones a bit, and then place your right knee down underneath your right hip. You can extend your left leg back, and now as you do that, hug the arms in, pull the belly up. Spread your toes wide, yeah, take a breath in, and then exhale, knee to nose, push to the palms and round the back body. And again, press the foot back, that energetic extension, and then draw in, knee to nose, and round, belly lifts up. Do one more time, extend, inhale, breath. And draw in, exhale, navel up. Extension on the inhale, spread toes. And then place your left knee down underneath your left hip. Okay, so you're gonna have your toes tucked under, and then keep the sit bones tilted to the ceiling so you get that little curvature in the low back, and then you're gonna lift up to downward facing dog. So root your palms, send your hips high. You might even walk the dog a little bit longer. Yeah, you can see Nick elongated there. And you might pedal the feet, sway the hips, so kind of get into the bigger shape. So right leg lifts from inner right thigh and spread your toes. Now you can do this with your knee on the ground if you need to. As you exhale, draw your knee back into your nose, push to the palms, shoulders are over the wrists. And then 2 more times. Inhale, sweep up, spread toes wide. Knee to chest, exhale, shift forward, push to the palms, dome the back. 1 more time, inhale. And then as you exhale, draw your knee in and lightly place your right foot to your right hand. So knee is over ankle, and place your back knee down. You can always pad the knee by flipping the mat if you need to. Scissor the legs in, so there's a pulling of femur bones into pelvis, and then reach your arms up by pressing your right heel into the earth. Low lunge. And so the gathering the legs in, the full part breath, belly, ribs, chest expanding. You're gonna take 1 more breath here, Nick. And as you exhale, hands come down to the mat. You're gonna take Ardha Hanuman, or the half split pose. Send your hips back and lift up your toes. Now in this action, push through the ball of the big toe mound. Wrap the right sitting bone down slightly, the hip, and pull it back. And then the right leg is toned, so the quadricep muscles, the kneecaps lifting, so it gives a message to hamstring that it can soften a bit. Okay, so preparing for high lunge, you're gonna bend into your right knee, plant the sole of the foot, lift up your back leg, the back knee up, and then push to the right heel, reach your arms up, high crescent. Big belly breath in. So to ground, to stabilize, to connect. Take one more full breath. And on the exhale, hands come to the ground. Walk your hands forward. So this is where you could use your blocks if you need to, and you're gonna lift your left leg up towards the ceiling for standing split. So you take an inhale, breath, extend, and then fold forward and push through the ball of your foot and keep your left hip down, level with right. And by squaring the pelvis, you're gonna save your low back here over time. Take another full breath. Maybe go a little bit lower as you exhale. Now bend both knees. Left foot lands next to your right at the top of your mat, feet hip width. Take a halfway lift, inhale, fingertips can be on blocks. Fold over the legs, exhale, breath, Uttanasana. Good. You're gonna take your seat of chair pose, Utkatasana. So hips go low, knees bend, arms reach up. Okay, so feel the heels dig down and almost they push down and out. And so the inner thighs wrap to the earth, the glutes are broad and strong, chest is rising. Now get into a steady rhythm of your breath as you want the fire to be built. Take another breath in. Ardha Utkatasana, so you're gonna take the pose into half like a tabletop. So you're gonna get your shoulders low in line with hips and reach forward to the front of the room. Get your shoulders nice and low, bring them down to about this height. Yeah, hips in line with shoulders, so half chair pose. And with the chest getting nice close to the thighs, you keep feeling like the chest is being pulled forward. Take another breath in, and then forward fold, let your head hang, Uttanasana, release it out. Take a halfway lift on the inhale breath and step back to top of the push-up plank pose here on the exhale breath. So top of the push-up, shoulders over wrists, the inner thighs are lifting, the belly's lifting. Now for this one, bring your knees to the mat, first one. Spiral the eyes of your elbows forward, so the rolling of the shoulders, that means the elbows will be able to pull into the rib cage when you lower. So you're gonna shift forward as you inhale, lower halfway and pause. Pull the belly up, go back to plank pose. Plank pose, lift your chest up. Knees come back to the ground. Then take an inhale, breath, lean forward, and exhale, lower halfway. And then push to the palms, come back up. And then one more time, bend your elbows into the ribs, chest leads forward, getting the shoulders strong, and then lift your chest back up. And then all the way you come down onto your belly. It'll feel nice to take an exalted cobra, so bring your fingertips off of your mat and tense your fingertips, elbow tips up, press actively tops of the feet, and as you inhale, slide your chest forward and up. And then as you exhale, you're releasing down towards the ground. Do that one more time. Root your feet, your finger pads, inhale, Viparita Bhujangasana, exalted cobra. And as you exhale, releasing down. Plant your hands by your ribs, tuck your toes under. You're gonna come to child's pose to down dog. So hips, pull them to your heels, keep the toes tucked, and then root your palms, hips up and back, downward facing, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a long, deep breath into ground and long breath out. Okay, so left leg lifts up towards the ceiling and lift from your inner thigh to keep your hips squared. And then spread your toes. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, left knee towards the nose, shift forward, shoulders over the wrists, and dome the back. So protraction here. And then again, lift up as you inhale, spread toes. And knee to chest, exhale, draw in. So remember, you can always bring your back knee down if you need to. One more time, lift up. And then draw in, squeeze, and lightly step to the top of your mat. Left foot meets your right. Left knee comes down to start. You can always pad it if you need to with a blanket or flip the mat. And then arms reach up as you're ready, low lunge, Anjayasana. So the femur bones pull in, the chest is rising. Take another full breath, lift up, slightly back. And as you exhale, hands come down. Ardha Hanuman, so you're gonna send your hips back, this half split. Left toes come up. The left hip lowers slightly and push to the big toe mound of the front foot. Good breathing. Okay, preparing for high lunge. So as you inhale, you're gonna lunge into your left knee, lift up your back right knee, square your hips, and reach your arms up when you're ready. Okay, feel the pressure of the back foot, that action of rooting. Take another breath in, and then hands come to the ground. You can use blocks here. Walk your hands forward and lift up your right leg. So you're gonna keep your hips squared, take an inhale breath, spread your toes. And as you exhale, draw the right knee in towards your chest and place your right foot next to your left. You're gonna come back into chair pose. Bend your knees, sink your hips low, arms reach up, Utkatasana. Take another full breath in. And then for this one, cactus your arms, interlace your hands at your low back. Roll open your shoulders, breathe into the chest, and then forward fold over your legs. Send your hips high and let your head hang. This is too much. You can always use a strap at home or like a belt or a scarf, something like that. Then you're gonna look to the ground, releasing your bind, take a halfway lift, fingertips to shins, blocks to the ground, and then step back to top of the push-up. So plant your palms, step back, high plank pose. And again, the option to bring your knees down or keep them lifted, belly up, roll the eyes of the elbows forward, shift forward, lower halfway chaturanga. And then taking an up dog if you like, straighten your arms, roll tops of the feet, shoulders wrap back, and then roll back over tuck toes, downward facing Adho Mukha Svanasana. You're gonna take a nice deep breath in, ground your palms as you breathe out. You're gonna lift your right leg up towards the ceiling, spread your toes, and now stack your right hip on top of your left. Take a big belly breath in. As you do that, tuck the front ribs in, and as you exhale, draw your knee towards your chest, squeeze in and pause. And again, inhale, float the right leg up, stack your hips, hug the right rib cage in. As you exhale, right knee to the outer right arm now, outer right arm, pull wide. One more time, inhale, lift up and stack and open. And then exhale, right knee to the outer right arm, pause, pull your knee towards your chest and step your right foot to your right hand. Coming into warrior two, so you're gonna lower your back heel down, heel to heel or heel to arch alignment, that's up to you. Knee over ankle, then press into the right heel to reach your arms up. So left arm back, right arm forward. You want your knee right over ankle. And there's a wrapping of the right sit bone underneath you, so extra rotation of right thigh. And then by pressing to the outer blade of the back foot, the left thigh is rotating internally. Shoulders stacked over hips, so you get equal weight, and then access into the depths of your hips. You're gonna bind your hands at your low back. Again, roll open your shoulders, take a big breath in, and then you're gonna fold humbled warrior to the inside of the right leg. Now, if you find that this is too much, hands can always come down to the inside of the foot, and you can always use blocks there as well. Let your head relax. The gaze is at the back foot to remind you to ground. 2 more deep breaths. Okay, look to the ground, release your bind. Lift up your back heel, so you're in the runner's lunge, and lift up to one-legged down dog. So right leg sweeps up and stack right hip. And as you do that, hug the arms in, big belly breath in. Now you're coming into pigeon prep. So you're gonna settle right knee behind right wrist. It's gonna be active, so you're gonna be really strong of pulling the femur bones in towards the hip sockets. Yeah, back toes can stay tucked. So as your right knee pulls back, pull your left hip forward, engage, and then maybe walk your fingertips back, so super active. Now, because you're active into the hips, if this creates any pressure in the knee, you can always come onto your right side and bend your back knee in a bit. That will help. Otherwise, take another breath in the active shape, and then you're gonna come down onto your forearms and release. But as you do that, now lean into the right hip. And then bend your back left knee in slightly. So you're gonna pull it over towards the left side. So sleeping pigeon. So lean to the right hip, yeah. And then the knee comes in ever so slightly. Pull it in just a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Take 2 more deep, full breaths into your belly. Okay, you're gonna use your inhale breath to come up onto your palms. Plant them firmly because you're preparing for downward facing. You're gonna roll the right hip back up, extend your left leg, press back, downward facing. Use a bit of core strength, down dog. Now you're gonna look forward, lift your heels high, and step up to the top of your mat, whichever foot works. Take a halfway lift as you get there, and forward fold over the legs, exhale. Okay. Find a rise. So inhale, push to the feet, arms circle up, look up, touch your palms, and bring your hands to your heart. Okay, so working into half-seated Shiva, you're gonna bring your hands onto your hips. This is the prep for the pigeon. Soften your knees. You're gonna bring a bend to your knees, create a bit of a shelf. And then take your right foot up and flex it. And you're gonna take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. So just similar what you did in seated position, and then sit a little bit lower into your seat. Yeah. So now tilt your sit bones back and up. So there's a bit of an anterior tilt. Pull the left knee back a bit further. So as the hips go back, the chest goes forward, like that half version. Yeah, deep breaths. Now be here, and if you're able, you reach slowly fingertips towards the blocks. And the blocks are great. We have these 3 levels that you can work with. If you don't have blocks at home, you could use anything that's stable. So containers or cans, something that's got some strength to it. Good. Yeah, so how's that feeling?
Good.
Yeah, good. So this is one option, right? The next option is to bring the blocks a little bit lower. So you might go to the second level. And then 3-part breath is very important here. And then option to bring the blocks down to the next level if that's available for you or for Nick. And then final option is to bring fingertips to the ground. Okay. If your fingertips are to the ground, or really any level is fine, you're gonna work with your left tricep. So let's go to the inside. So left arm tricep to the top of the foot. Hook it to the inside, yes. And as the curls curl around the arm, the right arm also tucks in front of the knee. And as the arms pull in and out, the chest is being pulled forward. Yeah, deep breaths. Okay, then from here, you're gonna prepare to come out. So bring your hands to your heart, push into your left heel and start to rise up to stand. Direct your right knee in and place your right foot down, hands by your sides. Yeah, taking a vinyasa. Inhale, arms circle up. Soften the knees as you flow forward over your legs, Uttanasana. And take a halfway lift on the inhale. And then plant your palms and step back to top of the push-up and pause here. So again, you have the option of knees up or down. Shift forward on the inhale breath, look forward, lower halfway or all the way. To cobra or up dog. So you're gonna lift your chest, engage the legs strong, and then roll back to downward facing on the exhalation breath. Root the finger pads, forearms squeeze in, and then from your inner left thigh, the left leg lifts up and spread your toes. You're gonna stack your hips as an extra rotation. Take a big belly breath in, and then knee to nose exhale, shift forward, push to the palms and dome the back. You're gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, lift up, stack open the hip. But now your left knee is coming to the outer left arm. So pull it wide, a little bit of core strength, a little bit extra rotation. Good, 1 more time. Inhale, float up and open. And then exhale, left knee to outer left arm, squeeze in. Good, pause here, knee to chest. Wow, and then left foot steps through. So you're gonna lower your back heel, preparing for warrior 2, the foot parallel, short end of the mat, left knee over ankle. When you're ready, push to the left heel to bring your arms up, gaze over the left hand and settle to the hips. So there's that subtle extra rotation of the left thigh wrapping out to tuck the sit bone under to keep the knee safe in line with the heel and the ankle. And then the back foot is pushing to engage the back leg and wraps slightly in to access hips. And you see Nick has a good alignment of shoulders stacked over hips here. Okay, binding your hands at your low back, Yogi Mudra. Roll open the shoulders, take a big breath in, and then you're gonna fold to the inside of the left leg. And hands can always come down to the earth, that's just as great. You let your head hang. Take long Ujjayi 3-part breaths. Okay, and then look to the ground, release the hands to frame your left foot. Picking up your back heel, so you're in the runner's lunge, 1-legged down dog, left leg lifts up to the ceiling. If it feels good, you can stack hip again. Moving into pigeon prep, subtle left knee behind left wrist, shins on an angle, back leg down. So because it's active, we wanna pull the femur bones in. The hips are gonna feel rising and heat going on there. Back toes tucked. And if this any tension in the knee that's not good, you'll pull to the left hip right away and bend into the right knee. Otherwise, breathe in, and then you're gonna soften and come forward. Good. Now, as you're here, just to protect the left knee, once again, you're gonna return to sleeping pigeon. So you're gonna roll to the outer left hip and bend your right knee up and in. So this will release any pressure on the knees. And 2 more deep breaths. Okay, you're gonna use your palms to come on up. You're gonna re-extend your right leg back, lift up the left hip so hips are squared, push to the earth and downward facing dog, left foot meets right. Okay, and then heels lift high, look forward and take a generous step up to the top of your mat, lengthening on the inhale and forward fold over the legs, exhale breath. Rise to stand, push down, climb up, Urdhva Hastasana, little back bend at the very top and pour your hands to your heart, Pranavanasana. Okay, hands come to the hips. So if your blocks were down, we want to reset them up just in case. Hips are always different flexibility, right? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to soften your knees. So you've created a little shelf, and then you're going to pick up your left foot and flex the foot. Roll the knee out so the ankle can come lightly on top of the thigh. Take a breath in, and then still a little deeper, pulling the hips back and the chest pulls forward slightly. Yeah. Sit bones tilt towards the ceiling. Okay. And then the right hip to the left ever so slightly. Yeah, there you go. So hip, knee, and ankle are more in line. And then you start to reach your fingertips towards the ground to the blocks. And again, you can always stack extra if you need, or you can go to different layers. So a couple breaths here. And then maybe the hips are open enough on this side, you go to the next level. So there's 3 tiers. Couple breaths. And then perhaps you go to the next level, and then a couple breaths. And you want to focus into the hips, right? So mind is there, you're very present. This keeps you safe, this keeps you grounded, it gives you stability. And then maybe fingertips to the ground. Okay. So then just a little bit of a prep before we take peak pose is that the right arm is going to tuck on top of the left foot. And then you're going to curl your toes around your right tricep. And then the left knee is pressing against the top of your left tricep. Hips nice and low, the chest is being pulled forward, like the Ardha Utkatasana. You've already taken that half chair pose. Okay, and then you're going to engage into the right heel. So push into the right heel, hands to heart, push into the earth to rise. Direct your left knee in and plant your left foot, hands by your sides, Tadasana. All right. So the stages, you can do all of those same thing, or we're going to work into Flying Pigeon. So let's reset the blocks up to the highest point, just in case you're going to stay in the stages, and hands come to hips. You're going to soften your knees. So you have that half seat. You've got the shelf. Pick up your right foot. Foot is flexed. Take right ankle on top of left thigh, and then drape open the right thigh. So external rotation. Take a breath in. As you exhale, send your hips back and your chest slightly forward. Sit bones tilt up. And left hip to the right a bit. Yeah. From here, fingertips come to the ground, to blocks or the ground. So any level that works for you. Now you're going to curl the right toes around the back of your left arm and hug your right arm in top of the knee. So this is one option, stay here. This is also where you could use your blocks for your palms if you can't find that palms can root the ground. So you're gonna bend your left knee, walk your hands slightly forward to plant your palms to the earth. Yeah, you could even go a little bit further forward. It might be off your mat. All right, yeah, there you go. Wiggle the foot back so you can adjust as you need. All right, so now our hands are rooted. This is lots of breath happening. She starts to lean into her fingertips and look forward. It's almost like chaturanga. So as you come forward, the toes are curled. Maybe the back toes lift up. Maybe. If the toes are up, maybe you push through the back foot. You've done this already. Push, spread your toes. Yes, and then draw your left knee back in. Draw your left knee back in, touch, and then plant the left foot down. Yeah, good. It's a lot of work, right? Okay, and then you're gonna rise back up. So bring your hips back. Yeah, push into the heel, rise, hands to heart, direct right leg in, and plant foot down. Good, and then give it a shake or a wiggle or a circle, whatever kind of like needs to get out of there. Yeah. Okay, so moving to the other side. So she's in a good placement. So you saw that she needed to pack a bit, so that's good. Hands on hips. Soften your knees. You're gonna pick up your left foot, foot is flexed, and place it on top of your right thigh. And then drape open. So there's external rotation happening. Take a breath in, and then pull the sit bones back, the hips back, as the heart pulls forward, like that half chair pose you already did. Yeah, deep breathing. Okay, so fingertips start to come towards the ground. And again, you can use blocks, fingertips to the ground. You can stay here, or you're gonna curl the toes around the back of the arm. This connection is big time. This makes a big difference. So curl and hold. And be here, or start to lean forward. So your palms are flat and rooted, grounded. And you keep leaning with the chest forward. And maybe this is it, or maybe the back toes might pick up, and that might be where you are. Or you're gonna start to push the foot back, spread your toes. Good, take a breath in, nice flying pigeon, and then pull the knee in, plant the foot, walk your hands back, lower the heel down, push into the earth, rise on up to stand. Direct your left knee in and plant your left foot, hands by your sides. Yeah, and then give it a shake. Good. All right, so hands to heart, well done. You're gonna take vinyasa. Inhale, arms reach up. So wave, sweeping it out, letting it go. Exhale, forward folding. Right. Halfway lift, inhale, breath. Plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Shift forward on the inhale, lower halfway, chaturanga. Shoulders above elbows, well done. Up dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, ankles in. Yeah, and downward facing, press it back. And now take child's pose, so take rest. Bring your knees wide, sink your hips to your heels. And take long, deep breaths. So come back to the 3-part breath in your belly, in your chest. You're gonna walk your hands back and come on up. Good. Hands to heart. Close your eyes. And take a full inhale breath. Let out a sigh and bow your head. Namaste. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, yogis at home. Once again, I'm Crystal, a teacher for YYOGA.